Wages are higher in London.
I didn't have a chance to record, so I want to make sure I understood. Let me say it.
Forget about Marx. Adam Smith looked at, is it really the case that if you raise wages, then prices will go up? And he said, no. The American colonies, wages are higher. You can look up the passage yourself in The Wealth of Nations.
Sure.
Wages are higher in the American colonies, but prices for commodities was lower.
You want to know why? Because there was a higher supply of those commodities.
Well, no, because also there was greater demand in the American colonies, which then invited more competition, which lowered the price.
Absolutely.
Right. So high wages are good. They help stimulate
I've never said that they weren't good.
Right.
But that has nothing to do with Marx or Smith.
No, it's out of work. 90 million Americans are out of work, and it's wrong.
And why are they out of work?
90 million because of illegal criminal immigration.
You've got a larger supply of labor driving down the price of labor.
We have too many people over here. Okay, our system is invaded. Our system is broken.
Your
down.
point, I agree with you, but that doesn't support Marx. That refutes him all the more. Marx also believes in a central government. Marx believed in giving the state lots of power. Well, we're talking about Adam Smith, right? So this is where we're going to stay. So you understand, there's a huge difference. I like that word, huge. Adam Smith, free market. Adam Smith, the free hand of commerce. I may not understand it, but it exists and it works.
You need to understand.
Marx believed in central control, big government, force. When you got force, you don't have liberty.
No, he did.
He did.
He talked about another class of people taking over, okay?
Okay, but you're still going to have government, and it's going to be centralized. And that's what's happened every single time. From Lenin to Stalin to Pol Pot, and even in China, it's still a communistic society.
Adam Smith wasn't against government.
Oh, sure, I'm not against it. It has to be free, limited.
Right. And what he was railing against was the arbitrary rule of monarchy.
Exactly. Right. And you know what? Communism creates the same thing.
It does. It does.
Give you some examples? Sure. Let's talk about Stalin. Let's talk about Khrushchev after that. Let's talk about, and then you've got, what's his name, Gorbachev, realizing with perestroika, we cannot have an economy which is command control. It's not working. Reagan knew he could work with the guy, and the Soviet Union collapsed.
System,
Go ahead.
They were the second largest manufacturing power in the world.
Based on what? Government spending?
No, just industrial output.
Okay,
you know that in the Soviet system, they had greater literacy than in the United States.
Who had greater literacy?
They had a greater rate of literacy.
You mean people could read?
Yeah, in the Soviet system.
Is this based on Soviet data that was collected?
This is the United Nations.
Oh, I don't trust the United Nations. They've got fraud up and down. United Nations claims that there's a higher life rate in Cuba. That's because they don't count the dead babies. They don't count the babies who are aborted. That's true. Why is it a lie? They don't count a baby that's born dead. That's why they claim a lower mortality rate. That's what's happening. The UN is a government institution that's politicizing its data.
It's ran by the United States.
Have you been to Cuba?
Thank God I haven't.
No, I have. I've been to 9 different Latin American countries.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and Cuba is easily...
My boss is in Cuba right now.
Cuba is easily the cleanest, healthiest, and safest of all the Latin American countries I've been to.
Okay, have you been everywhere and have you talked to everyone?
Mexico, Guatemala,
but I mean in Cuba.
Yeah, it's all over Cuba.
But here's the problem. Then why are so many Cubans fleeing Cuba?
Thank you.
Explain that to me.
Well, much less than the Haitians, Mexicans,
No.
Nigerians.
Why are so many Cubans leaving Cuba? If it's such a great country. You're not answering my question. 1979. You got Castro. No los queremos. No los necesitamos. I watched Scarface. Say hello to my little friend. Sorry.
That's who fled. Criminals.
Yeah. No. Excuse me. You're calling all Cubans criminals? Did you just say that? Oh, hell, you did not.
But I'm just saying that...
I got Cuban friends who obey the law, and they couldn't stand the communistic corruption and abuse. Sir, I'm sorry, but